I finally got all of my renown in Diablo 4, and it sucked. Let me explain. If you don't know what renown is, it's essentially a special type of experience you gain per region in the game. You gain renown by doing things like getting waypoints for a region, getting strongholds in that region, discovering locations, doing dungeons, getting statues of Lilith, and completing side quests. The reason the renown ladder is so important is because there are skill points you can gain, as well as paragon points. These are a necessity, and it basically makes renown a requirement, a thing you gotta check off and do in the game in order to be as powerful as your character can possibly be. Now, the main issue I have with this system is that it forced me to do things that I didn't necessarily want to do at the time. It forced me to do regular dungeons and side quests instead of doing the end game content that I actually wanted to just get to. Now, I will say things like discovering locations, collecting waypoints, completing the strongholds, those are all things that I was actually excited to do, and you do this as you progress through the campaign. It's not a chore. It's a way to unlock easier access to towns and unlock new towns if you're completing a stronghold. The problem comes when you reach the end of the game, you have all your statues of Lilith, you have all your waypoints, all your strongholds done. You're probably about halfway down the renown ladder. How do you get the rest of the renown? Well, you gotta do side quests and you gotta do dungeons. And not nightmare dungeons. That's the thing. You have to do regular dungeons instead of the much more efficient, much better nightmare version. Now, the only reason this is the case is because they don't have a nightmare dungeon for every dungeon. So if you did all the nightmare dungeons, you would only get so far up the renown ladder. An easy way to fix this, in my opinion, is if they just gave a nightmare variation to all the dungeons. Then you could just naturally get renown as you're doing these nightmare dungeons, instead of having to settle for their regular counterpart. Another option could be just making side quests more valuable, giving them maybe more experience, better loot acquired through them, making the renown reward larger, anything to make side quests feel better, feel more valuable. Because to me, I'd rather be doing something more efficient with leveling or gear acquisition like nightmare dungeons or grinding hell tides. I don't want to be stuck doing something I don't want to do. But now that I'm done with renown, I finally feel free from the shackles that Diablo 4 has put me in. It's nice to know in Season 1 that we're not going to have to discover altars of Lilith again, and we're not going to have to discover all the locations on our map again. We will have to get the waypoints, do the strongholds again, side quests reset, dungeons reset, and that's fine, but I just wish there were more options to gain renown passively as I'm interacting with the end game, instead of having to go back and do things that aren't necessarily part of the end game, like regular dungeons and random side quests. Just give me a nightmare dungeon equivalent to all the regular dungeons, and then I could just jam my nightmare dungeons, get renown that way, and I won't be complaining about it right now. As I talk about this, I realize that maybe I'm in the minority. Maybe I'm just bitter about this, crying about something that Blizzard's not doing that I want them to do. But let me know what you guys think. I want to hear your opinions in the comments. Shout out how you feel about renown. Also, maybe some of these renown issues will be answered tomorrow in their developer live stream that they're doing. July 6th, 11 a.m. PDT. I will be live at the same time watching this with you guys, hopefully. So come check that out. I'll be right here on YouTube as well as twitch.tv/Jake_Shell. Whichever platform you prefer to watch your live content, I'll be on both. All right, that's about it for this one. See you in the next one.